So the other day, I put a question up on YouTube saying, would somebody want to watch Between the Frames with a bunch of kind of disjointed little video clips that really didn't have anything much to do with each other. It was all stuff that I shot for Between the Frames that I intended to use and I just never really got around to actually doing anything with. So yeah, people by and large wanted to watch it anyway, so I really appreciate the support. This is just going to kind of lead into that. This is brand new footage that I'm shooting here in the middle of October 2019. Everything you're going to see from this point out is kind of old, but I just wanted to show you kind of a couple things that I'm messing with here. Obviously, this Mortal Kombat video is still coming along. I'm going to have a full explanation for what exactly this is going to be at some point in the near future. I did kind of spill the beans on it in my live stream, The Captain's Log, airing it Wednesday nights, same Vader time every week. But yeah, you're going to see an official announcement on that pretty soon. This is the McFarlane Doom Slayer, based on Doom Eternal from the looks of it, which sadly got postponed. Was supposed to be out next month, and now it's going to be like 5 months from now, so kind of a bummer. But this figure's pretty nice. I mean, it's bulky and you can't get a ton of posability out of it, but what you can do with it, I don't mind. Pretty good, 25 bucks, whatever. This is the Bret Hart. I've done a review of this one. I got Ken and Ryu here from Storm Collectibles. These are the Ultra Street Fighter 2 versions. I had the Street Fighter 5 versions as a while back, and that's this Ken right here. And the Ryu that I have is the blue one with the yellow headband. But these guys are fun to pose. I was afraid they weren't going to be as posable in the ankles and in the feet as they are, but they're actually better than I expected them to be. I was afraid they were going to be more like this Akuma, who is very hard to pose pretty much from the knees down. So, oh well. I dig them though. They're good. Big pop pump. Yeah. This is the new prototype. I'll bring him into the light here. This is the new Captain McKay figure. The old body with the white suit that you see here. Yeah, he's been through a lot. So, yeah, look at him. He can dance though. So, happy to give him a new body. This is an Agent Phil Coulson from Avengers. And I used the same head and the same coat. I just removed that suit jacket that he had on and just went for this. I think it's good. He lost a little bit of his height though, so if he looks a little shorter, that's why. Don't hold it against me. It's kind of something cool I thought I'd show off. I found some bone-crunching action figures from Jack's from God knows how long ago. This is Triple H, obviously. The one I had as a kid was just like this, except it had like kind of the glossy purple instead of the green. But I really like this design. It'd be cool to see Mattel do an Elite of this. And this is a signature series, I guess, because it's got the vest with the signature on it. Really cool. This is an earlier version of Triple H, this Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I don't know exactly which this is from. This may be the WrestleMania 14 figure, because he's got the Triple H vest. And, it's still the old Hunter Hearst Helmsley mold because he got the ponytail and everything. But, yeah, I don't know, pretty cool. I have 3 versions of Bret Hart here. This is Superstar Series 2. This is Superstar Series 1 or 3. I don't know. I think they were the same figure. And this is either from the Raw is War box set or the Survivor Series box set. I'm not sure, but that's the only way you could get them without the glasses, because you can see these both have the shades. But yeah, these were pretty cool for their time. These I actually bought over the past probably 10 years or so. The one I actually had when I was a kid messing with Bone Crunchers was the Slammers figure, which had a lever in his back which would make his arms go up and down. So it was in this gear too, so it looked just like this figure, except it had that kind of action gimmick to it. And lastly, I believe these are both my brothers. These are when bone crunching action came back for a while, and they made like the Dudley Boys and like a lot of the current WWE superstars at the time. So you got like the American Badass Undertaker with like the real scan head, which honestly still probably looks better than many of the ones that Mattel is doing now. But yeah, I mean, not bad. I think this one had a shirt at one point. I don't know what happened to it. Same with this one. This was actually just a resculpt of, well, the head was the Superstar Series 7 Undertaker. They just painted the hair lighter. And the body, I think it was The Rock's body at one point, but they just painted it over. But yeah, Bone Crunchers used a lot of molds many times, just like a lot of Jack's figures would. But yeah, overall pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I think they're cool. Almost forgot, there's Chris Jericho too, in his like I always called it his Rebellion gear because I think the Rebellion Series 2 Titantron Live figure had this gear with like the silver and yellow lightning bolts. But yeah, it's the bone crunching version of it. This one was definitely my brother's too because I never had a bone crunching Jericho. I had the Titantron Live ones. But pretty cool. So a couple people have been asking to see the lab, and I gotta tell you, it's not looking great. Problem is, I just, well, I mean, it's been a little while now, a couple of weeks, but I finished Rite of Passage and I took down the set, which was taking up pretty much this entire table here. And basically I've made this into like a workshop of sorts for the past couple of weeks. And then I've been doing my like weekly live streams over here in front of this shelf. But yeah, I don't know, like I got stuff kind of all over the floor here, just boxes of stuff that I got to go through and figure out what it all is and if I'm going to keep it and all that kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of those bins are empty, especially the ones just holding up the table. Those are definitely empty. But, I mean, these little shelves got stuff in them. That's wrestling figures on the top. I don't think the bottom bin has really anything in it, but... And, you know, I've been looking at all these old Star Wars, like Clone Troopers and all these different guys, the 3/4 inch ones, or, I'm sorry, 3 3/4 inch ones. Trying to figure out what I'm going to do with these. I want to sell probably a lot of them because, let's be honest, I don't really do anything with Star Wars anymore in that scale. You know, I like the Black Series figures and all that, but like the smaller guys, I don't know, I don't use them for animating. I don't set them up or display them or anything, so it might be time to pass these along to somebody who might want them more than I do. And then we got, you know, the main shelf here. I'll come back around and show a lot of this stuff again, but yeah, I got, you know, some clothes in there and that shelf there and Hellhammer's food, and yeah, I'm gonna get this place looking a little bit better so I can show you proper tour of the lab. So stay tuned for that in a little bit here. So let's talk about these X-Men figures. This is the new wave, the Caliban Build-A-Figure, who you see back there in the corner. This wave just came out within the last month. I just got it about a week ago, I think. Yeah, last weekend. So it's a really nice wave, actually. There's a couple figures that I would have changed slightly, but we'll go over that in a little bit. We can start with Caliban back there, who's a really nice looking Build-A-Figure. I don't think he's quite as nice as some of the recent ones like Sauron or Apocalypse, but I mean, he gets the job done. He's a good figure, he's got a good size to him. They did a great job with the hands and the face, the sculpting on those. And the paint work on mine is pretty nice, so I can't complain too much. And it's nice to have a big character like that. He stands out. Then we got Blink, who is a character that admittedly I'm not terribly familiar with. I mean, I remember her from Age of Apocalypse, but that's not what this version is necessarily meant to be. I remember her from Days of Future Past, the movie too, where she's like a teleporter, but she almost uses like that Doctor Strange like circle thing that she jumps through, like a portal, as opposed to Nightcrawler just like disappearing and reappearing. But she seems cool. I'd like to get to know more about the character, but I just don't know where to start. So anybody with any recommendations, leave me one in the comments. Let me know. Now we're going to move on to what I'm going to say is the sleeper hit of this wave, and that's Skullbuster. He does come with this alternate head right here, which I've seen people put on Nuke, and it looks fairly comic accurate for whoever this guy is supposed to be. I'm not exactly sure. I forget this one's name. He's a part of the Reavers team, which really the only ones I know besides Skullbuster are Bonebreaker, who's a guy who's like a half a body inside a little tank, and Lady Deathstrike, who is like a longtime nemesis of Wolverine. But this figure is really nice. They got a lot of different things going on with him, and he looks really unique and cool, so I dig it. It's nice to have like just a generic, not a generic army builder, but like a member of a team that we haven't seen really represented before. I think it's cool. And we're moving on to Weapon X Wolverine, which is a nice enough figure, but I don't like that the hair is so long in the back that it makes it so you can't put his head like back. He can't look up at all. And that same problem is on the alternate head too. You can see how long it is in the back. And to be honest, I'm not a fan of this face sculpt really either, but you know, it's what it is, I guess. The only downside with Weapon X that I can think of is you're kind of limited with what you're going to be able to do with them because of the what the figure is based on, essentially. Anybody with like a sweet lab diorama is going to be able to make it work for them, but like outside of him just escaping from the facility, I don't know really what else you could do with him. I mean, I've got them in my makeshift little lab that I made a long time ago, and I guess if I were to put him in the corner somewhere with like a tank and wires connected to him, I could pull something off. He's not a bad figure, it's just, you know, you might be a little limited. Moving on to what I think is maybe the nicest figure in the set, we got Beast. He's got great articulation, really good sculpt. Everybody's kind of saying that they wish they had a different face sculpt for him, like a less angry one, a more neutral one. I agree. I would like to see that, and hopefully some other figure maybe comes with a pack-in face sculpt for him. Or if they do a re-release, they can give him like a lab coat and, I don't know, like a neutral expression with like maybe glasses. I don't know. But overall, this is a big improvement over the old Toy Biz Beast, and that's not me saying that the Toy Biz Beast is a bad figure. I actually still think that that figure is really nice, but this one I think is the better of the two. Now we move on to Jubilee, who's hanging on for dear life up here. It's a great figure too. We've been waiting for this version of Jubilee since that stupid Build-A-Figure came out that nobody could find because that wave had terrible distribution. So yeah, this is the non-vampire Jubilee. This is the classic 90s, and they did an awesome job with it. I really think that this is a good figure. The only thing that I would personally change is the hinge on this hand makes her move at the wrist in a way that's like this, as opposed to like this, which you're used to for a lot of Legends. So it's kind of awkward at times to show her like using her powers. She does come with an extra head sculpt as well, which is this face with the bubble gum, and it's awesome. She comes with one or two pairs of these, I call them Brett Hitman Heart glasses, but they're obviously the Jubilee glasses. I believe they're stuck on that face, but on this face they are removable. So that's definitely cool. And I didn't check to see if the Build-A-Figure head fits on this body. Not to say that this face sculpt is bad or anything, but it's just nice to have those options. Moving on, we got Forge, and I'm happy that we finally got a new Forge figure because I missed that 2-pack one, and I wasn't ready to go back and pay for a figure that I didn't really think was that good. So this one I do like. He's not without his problems. He's got these boot tassel things that are just loose on the figure. It's like the Jim Lee Cyclops, how he had those like boot topper things, and then the yellow band things that went around his legs. They were just kind of on there. They weren't stuck in place. Forge has that going for him too. But I seem to remember people picking the face sculpt apart when they first showed the figure. And honestly, I don't really think it's bad. I don't know if they changed it before release, but maybe it's just me. I don't hate it as much as maybe I'm supposed to. Maybe I'm a bad collector. I don't know. And lastly, we got Gambit. And this is the one I think everybody was waiting for. Since the Toy Biz figure came out in like Toy Biz Wave 4, we haven't really seen a new Marvel Legends Gambit. Does this one tick all the boxes for everybody? Not for me personally. It's this big Nick Fury jacket that everybody knew we were going to get, and I'm just like, that's going to hinder his articulation. I don't really know why they keep going with this when they could do like a softer jacket. I saw Punker Mike do a tutorial video on how to like modify this figure and make use of your old Toy Biz jacket. And I definitely want to do something like that. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do it with yet, but I do have the Toy Biz Gambit. Now, as far as just for a figure that stands there and looks nice, this one is definitely an improvement over that old one. And I do like that he comes with the card accessory. He also has this card throwing hand accessory, which, yeah, it's not bad. I don't really care for it myself personally, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. But yeah, the face sculpt is nice. The bow staff has got some sculpting on it, which is cool. You can see in there that they didn't paint the peg, so the pink shows on the outside of the leg, but because the peg is pink, it also like stands out on the inside of the leg, which is kind of lazy. They could have just dropped a little bit of black paint on that. It reminds me of that Pizza Spider-Man figure where they had the red peg in his arms and it showed through on the inside of his arms, so I had to paint blue on the inside of his arms just to like make it so that that didn't stand out so bad. Same thing with Gambit. But yeah, I mean, overall, he's not a bad figure, and overall, I do like this wave. I don't think it's necessarily the strongest wave of X-Men figures, but the ones that are good are really, really good. So I'm really happy to own this wave. So in case you're curious, here is the new Hasbro Beast next to the old Toy Biz Beast. And, you know, like I said, the old Toy Biz one is not a bad figure by any means. I'm glad to see that they upgraded it and made him kind of a little bit more streamlined with today's Marvel Legends. But you know, if you have this figure, I would suggest you still hang on to it because he can still look good in the display. He's got like a more neutral expression, which is nice. The color is not the same, but and neither is the balance apparently. But he, you know, both are good figures. It's not one of those things where like the new one comes out and totally like destroys the old one in every way. Like when the Hasbro, what was it, the Juggernaut Wave Deadpool came out, I thought that one was pretty much bar none the best Deadpool that they've made, even including like the old 2-pack ones and everything like that. So, and if you remember it, man, people were going crazy for those. So whichever one you like better, Toy Biz or Hasbro, I think we can all agree that both of them are better than this. My God, Hasbro. How far have you come? Really happy for you guys. Can't believe I spent money on that. And then you got some Storm Collectibles figures that I need to figure out where I want to display these. I got them kind of all over the place. You got them there. Then over here you got a couple. I hope you can see that. The other Zangief, the other Bison, my Akuma, like they're all in there in the little dojo setup. So yeah, little by little, we're making things work in here. Something cool, there's been people asking about the Ninja Turtles that I got. So I got this set here. These are the single carded ones, which they come with extra hands with like the claw things for like climbing the side of a building. And I believe they came with like diorama pieces too. So if you had that, you could set them up like with the sidewalk, and there was like a lamppost and everything. Pretty cool. And they come with like baby turtles too. I don't know what that is on the floor there. But really, really great set. And these figures have aged really nicely too. Like they haven't, you know, some older figures kind of look like they're showing signs of like bad engineering or whatever now. But these guys, no, NECA did a great job. And I also have the black and white versions of these too, which are great figures. I think I've showed them before on the channel, but yeah. Up here we got some Star Wars Black Series. You gotta fire this up. Hopefully it works. Man, these, I don't know if my batteries are dying or if I just don't have them plugged all the way in, but that's gonna be what it is for now. Some of you may remember this set from Batman vs. Terminator, so I still keep it up. I like it. We move up here. These are the 1990 movie Ninja Turtles from NECA. These came out originally as a San Diego exclusive, I believe, or was it New York? I don't remember. But they released like a big box set of them, and last year, or no, the beginning of this year, GameStop released them as single exclusives. So I was able to pre-order them, get them, and I really, really like them. NECA did a bang-up job on these. They're awesome. Can't say enough good things about them. If you've never messed with them in person, do yourself a favor. If you're a Ninja Turtles fan or a fan of this movie, pick yourself up a set of these. I don't think you'll regret it. We'll move down here. These are the NECA cartoon 2-pack Ninja Turtles. These just came out from Target, I believe. They're exclusives like a couple of months ago. And I was able to secure all of them. I got 3 out of the 4 really easily, and then I had a hard time finding the last set, but Burnout Inc. was able to find it and help me out with that. So big thanks to him. You can see here they match the aesthetic of the original 80s, early 90s cartoon. So if you were a fan of Turtles from that era, you won't be disappointed with these figures. And that Metalhead is from the 2012 cartoon, I think, but he looks pretty good with these. He also looks great with the Rebel Tech figures, which I don't have displayed right now, but I gotta pop those open. They're really good. This is just in from eBay. Got a fodder lot. Got this Brother Voodoo with no feet. Basically just got this so that I could get the black arms, because I want to use this to swap onto the new Hasbro Gambit. Not sure if I'm going to do a complete arm swap or if I'm just going to go beneath like the where the bicep cut is, because my plan is to put the cloth Toy Biz coat on that figure. So, I mean, you won't see the shoulders when I'm done, so I might not bother like swapping the whole arm out. But I don't know, we'll see. Then we got this Human Torch, which I will honestly do nothing with. He has no arms. This is like the Chris Evans Fantastic Four movie version. Yeah, this was just in the lot, so I kind of had to buy it. And lastly was this Headless Apocalypse Wave Astonishing X-Men Wolverine from Toy Biz. This was the unmasked variant, as you can tell, because the mask is there, which is the reason why I got it. Because I can use this mask, and I could put it onto one of the Marvel Legends, like the modern ones. And if they ever give us a good Wolverine head, like unmasked Wolverine head, this will look much better on the figure than if he didn't have the mask pulled back. So, I don't know, just something cool. So here's the Legendary Riders series Wolverine head sculpt on the old Juggernaut Wave body with that mask. And unfortunately the mask kind of sits a little bit weird on there. You can see like the front part, that yellow bunched up part. It doesn't go over his trap really, so it kind of makes it so you have to put the head on the peg like leaned forward like that. So I think if I cut that part down, like maybe just remove this part where my finger is, the head will sit flush and the mask will be able to be like pulled back a little more. But I do like how it looks from the back. It definitely looks cool with the costume. Like, you know, at any point he could just pull the mask over his head and be fully costumed, ready to go. This head sculpt is terrible, by the way. So hopefully Hasbro decides to bless us with a, I don't know, much nicer looking Wolverine unmasked head. Granted, this is the one from the motorcycle, so it's supposed to look like he's like riding through the wind or whatever, but just looks like crap. So, wouldn't be an episode of Between the Frames without my unmade bed and a giant box, the contents of which I actually don't know what they are yet. My man Bash, aka the Mighty Bash, aka Bash Wiley, frequent member of the Captain's Log live stream chat. He let me know he had some stuff that he was going to send, so I was like, all right, cool. And then this thing shows up today. Much larger box than anticipated. So let's see what we got. Yeah, so we got, looks like a bunch of the Build-A-Figure pieces. Well, not Build-A-Figure, but I guess the Build-A-Display from the Diamond Select Ghostbuster figures. And these are fairly sizable pieces. Like you can see, this is a pretty, I don't know, I want to say like maybe 6 by 8 inch piece, something like that. Those three look like they connect. We got a few different things down here, a couple different signs, like a flat piece, like a street level piece, I guess. Yeah, man, this is actually really cool because I can definitely get some use out of this. There was a note included as well that said like this is kind of too big for anything that he would ever display, but he's like, you could probably get some use out of them, and no doubt I can. My man also threw in the Select Stay Puffed, which he's just like, I know you're not a huge Ghostbusters fan, but this would look great with Godzilla or something. I'm like, you know what? I had never thought about that, but that's definitely going to happen. So big shout out to Bash. Really appreciate this stuff, man. This is awesome. I was working on some Mortal Kombat stuff. I'm sure I'll get more into that in a little while. But I did want to show this off. This is compliments of Burnout Inc. I got this in the mail yesterday. Let's see if I can focus it up. This is the new Elite, whatever series Rock that's exclusive to Walmart. And I gotta say, this, without too much exaggeration, I guess, this is probably the best version of the Rock that you can get. It looks awesome. The way they did the face paint, like, definitely really brings out the sculpt in a way that they didn't used to really before. Let me just get the sunglasses off and you'll see what I mean. Hopefully the glare is not too bad, but yeah, like this version of the Rock is like, whatever they're doing with the face painting now really brings out the sculpt. The problem is sometimes you see them with like weird, like off, like they just, I don't know, they missed somehow. I don't get it, but he's got all the different hands and stuff. I got him in the bag right there. So here he is next to the Legends Rock from a couple of years ago, many years ago now. And you can see the way they did the face painting, like really brings out the detail in the sculpt on this one compared to the old one. The one thing I do prefer kind of about the old one is the hair is like painted to be like kind of, I don't know, they got different like subtleties in the hair, whereas this one is just like a flat black paint job. Doesn't bother me, but it's definitely something that is different about this one. But overall, yeah, if you can find this Rock figure, grab it. So definitely a big thanks to Burnout Inc. Appreciate you helping me out. I also finally got around to painting this Joker cast. Turned out okay. I don't know, I'm not great at painting eyes, but this is a shrunken down cast from the Hot Toys figure. I've always liked the Nicholson Joker, so getting it and being able to use it on the Mezco figure, really nice. What I want to do is get like a bigger coat, I think, because Jack Nicholson was never like this slim as the Joker, so I want to get like a bigger coat that'll probably make the figure look a little bit more correct in terms of size, as now it's out of focus because I'm moving it all over the place. But honestly, now that I've got this, I'm way more interested in seeing how that 89 Mezco Batman looks when it comes out, so I can get Michael Keaton to go with the Jack Nicholson. And I do have one more of these head casts actually that I want to paint to look like when he makes his face look like just normal flesh tone, even though he's obviously still the Joker underneath. Like, I want to, I don't know, try my hand at that. But I like how this looks. So I got this model kit, and it's going to wind up looking like that, supposedly, when it's done. It's like a harbor. I found it on eBay, like 35 bucks. Really cool looking. It's all like, I think it's like base wood, so it's a little bit easier, more pliable than balsa wood. But you can see these instructions, a little complicated, so I'm in for a treat here. I did get a couple pieces already, like you know, snapped out, and they do look cool. There they are, like next to Godzilla, scale-wise there, so you can compare them. I do think this will look really cool. My plan I'd like to paint these, I think, and then probably paint them before I put them together, and then just, you know, go from there. Maybe do some little detail work on them just to make them pop a little bit more. Yeah, more on that as it develops, I guess. So you can see here, I got a bunch of the pieces painted. They're just a light gray. If you, you know, if you notice on the back, they're just the wood color. I painted them up. My plot here is, as you can see here, this has tracing paper glued to the back that I cut to size. Hopefully, if this works, this tracing paper will reflect light if I put a light inside of it, and it'll spread it out and distribute it a little bit more evenly, so it'll look illuminated by the time it's all said and done. Again, this is all just mad scientist theory 101. I haven't actually tried this with any of these yet, but I'm just kind of giving it a shot as we go along here. But yeah, this is it's a lot of pieces. Some of them exceptionally small. So yeah, we'll see.
That's crispy.